It's been 63 years since Mao Zedong declared that the Chinese people had stood up and taken control of their own destiny. In Mao's vision, central to that process was seizing rural land monopolized by landlords and returning it to the peasants who worked the earth. As the great helmsman forecast, the process was not a dinner party. It was only through violent struggle sessions against landlords that peasants were finally given, if only briefly, land to call their own. 6 decades later, the Chinese countryside has entered another period of land seizures and often violent struggles. But this time the land is being taken from China's peasants and sold to the landlords of the 21st century, real estate developers. The acquisitions are made with local governments acting as middlemen and taking a huge cut of the proceeds, while farmers are left to fume over their paltry compensation. On today's show, we'll examine this process, looking at the economics behind a land transfer and the sometimes violent aftermath. Later in development debates, we'll look at the link between local government finances and rising land seizures. To understand the economics behind widespread government land grabs, it's important to first grasp property ownership in the nominally communist country. During the early stages of reform and opening, China took the first steps toward private land ownership by issuing land use rights. In urban areas, the government maintained full ownership but allowed 70-year leases on land that most analysts believe will be extended automatically. In the countryside, China's land use laws stipulate that all land is owned by the collective, a verbal remnant of China's ill-fated attempt to collectivize agriculture. These collectives are often represented by village committees who are granted power over much farmland. That power should be limited by land use contracts to farmers, agreements that are supposed to last for 30 years. But a study commissioned by American NGO Landesa and conducted jointly by Renmin and Michigan State University showed that many peasants lack the documents that would allegedly grant them protection under the law. The Landesa survey of nearly 1,700 villages showed that just 37% of farmers had both of the needed documents to prove ownership. Against this shaky legal backdrop, villages are often powerless in the face of government acquisition attempts. The joint study between Renmin University and Michigan State University estimated that 43% of villages in China have seen rural land acquired and converted by the government. Academic studies indicate that over the past 20 years, local governments appropriated more than 16 million acres of rural land. The pace of acquisitions picked up in 2004 and spiked during the country's post-crisis stimulus. But it's not merely the widespread acquisition of land that's feeding rural discontent. It's the enormous gap between the price local governments pay farmers for their land and the price at which they resell the land to developers. According to Chinese law, compensation for rural land is calculated according to its agricultural capacity. Current laws mandate governments calculate the average annual income over the past 3 years and pay farmers 30 times that in exchange for their land. Caixin reports that when the government seizes rural land, it rarely pays more than $60,000 per acre. That means on a per square meter basis, the land is worth less than 100 yuan or just $15. In its 17-province survey of villages, Landesa came up with an astonishingly low average payment, just $17,850 per acre or $4.40 per square meter. That amount covers what's technically in a farmer's legal contract, but it falls dramatically short of the current market value of the land. The joint Chinese-American study showed that when sold to developers, the land averaged $740,000 per acre, or $182 per square meter. That price is 41 times the average compensation given to farmers, according to the Landesa study, and 13 times greater than Caixin's high-end estimate of compensation. These numbers are all broadly in line with an estimate from China's own Development Research Center for the country's State Council. Official data shows that payments to landholders equal just 5 to 10% of total income from government land sales. Wang Cailiang, a member of the All China Lawyers Association and an outspoken critic of land seizures, decried local government seizures in the name of development. Quote, "Public officials are ignoring their jobs and becoming demolition workers. From the city to the countryside, all over the nation, the alarms are being raised and the fluttering flags read, 'Transform the old city, transform the village.' Transform has become the new word for pillage." Don't go away, because when we come back, we'll see how this rigged pricing system has fomented violent unrest in the countryside and what lies ahead for Chinese farmers. Stay tuned.